Sharp.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Coon Prairie Ramblers. Mailman here, along with Casey and the Moonshine Gang.
I'm here.
Yep, and Luke Thorville with the Clue.
Yep.
Yep, and
Get a job.
Casey's got this one. He's gonna roll right along.
I don't say I've got this one.
Casey
mouth off the
ain't got
microphone.
nothing.
I got something we're gonna talk about.
Oh, he's gonna-
but it ain't gonna. The whole thing ain't gonna be on me.
Now, me and Luke don't know what he's talking about, but he's
But
going to
we're
explain
gonna
it to us.
surprise y'all with a little thing, and then y'all gonna have to take the ball and run with it. I
I'm
won't
ready.
either.
Okay.
It's kind of like a blind date.
Hand
Yeah.
off.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. Now, a lot of things have been happening lately, and it reminds me of the law of unintended consequences.
Oh, boy.
People try to accomplish something, and their efforts sometimes cause something totally different
unintended.
than what they wanted, and it
Okay.
causes sometimes a backfire, or
Yeah.
maybe it's good, sometimes it's bad.
My wife does that with me all the time.
Backfires?
Yeah, no, she opens her mouth and then everything backfires.
But
You're in trouble.
I
You're in trouble.
don't want to get into a big discussion about this one particular thing, but the example to me of unintended consequences is when the quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, decided to not stand for the National Anthem.
You had to bring
and
that
he
up.
tried to do that, he says, to bring light to the plight of his fellow African
right.
Americans.
Where was his
that
bringing
are
up?
oppressed, but the problem is he caused more backlash against himself.
Yeah.
Than now, some people jumped on this little bandwagon with him, but a lot of people said, you overpaid,
That's right.
egotistical,
I want to hear about
athlete.
what he's oppressed about.
And I think it caused more people to start waving the flag and to get on the bandwagon with the veteran. And I think and I, for one, I took it as a slap in the face to everybody that's ever served this
Sure.
country.
I'll tell you what.
I mean, if you've got something like that, there's ways to do it, and there's ways not to do it.
Actually-
and he did the way not to do
Yeah.
it. But I don't want to really dwell on that.
But
I
what
just want
happened,
to dwell
the
on
consequence of it was it turned out to be a good thing. Because
In a way.
because
it's a bad thing because I don't appreciate
because they
it.
rally around the veterans now, and then there was this picture on Facebook with this amputee veteran from the war, and he's standing. He's making every effort to stand for the national anthem, and and it's causing pride.
And the other thing it has done
for our nation,
for me, one person, and I know I don't count for much. I have not watched a football game
me
this
either.
season.
Nope.
And I think there are a lot of other people throughout this country that
I didn't
that
buy the
have.
products.
But I'm not saying that everybody should do what I'm doing and not.
Yeah, I said
But if it's something that's endorsed by the NFL, I'm not going to buy it.
Right.
If it's something that the NFL promotes, I'm not going to be part of it. I don't say quit watching it, but as for me, I'm not going to watch it.
Right.
I'll watch NASCAR. And NASCAR, they're out there waving their flags. They're all standing. They're all saluting. They're all bowing their heads when they pray. Those are my kind of people.
Yeah.
That's my people. That's all I'm saying.
Listening to Greenwood.
And this thing wasn't to talk so much about Colin Kaepernick and his thing.
Now, why'd you
was
bring that
just
up?
to talk about the law of unintended consequences. So many times
dum.
things happen, and some people try to do something for a cause and effect, and sometimes the effect is totally opposite of what they were shooting for. So have you ever ran into that?
Yes, but I got to think about it.
Your wife, you said backfired
That's right.
on you.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was trying to.
I hate when that
but I was
happens.
trying to figure out a way to say it in case she listens to this.
Well, she'll hear about it. You say it. We'll make sure of that.
Yeah, we'll make sure.
Well, yeah. In a lot of conversations, let's take married people in general, and sometimes. Oh gosh, I can't make this come out good.
He's tying the noose.
Ooh, I'm gonna drop back 10 yards and punt.
You need to say it.
Okay.
You got our curiosity up now.
Well,
Well, it ain't gotta
don't
be about
leave us
you.
hanging.
Tell it in the form of it's about this
Third person.
Other
Third
couple,
person.
This other couple
This
I'm
couple I
asking for
know,
a friend.
That's right. Phone a friend.
inevitably they will get into a friendly conversation, but the intended give me that term again.
The law of unintended consequences.
Okay, the unintended consequences. so and so says such and such, and then, but party B misunderstands it or misconstrues it, thinking,
oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood.
And what was meant to be a good conversation turns out going south.
Splat.
Yeah, splat. Now, have you had those? Have you had any of those?
You say one thing and you mean one thing, but it's heard differently, and then they take it and run with it. Then they tell somebody else, and it gets twisted a little bit more.
You know, and some people are experts at misunderstanding what someone says.
That's a gift.
And have you ever had somebody tell you, no, wait, you can't do it that way.
Right.
You need to do it this way.
Yeah.
And you say,
come
hell or high water, I'm going to do it.
It's like double dog dare.
I'm
going to do it.
This is what my wife does.
Oh, boy.
I'll go to explain. And I think I'm fairly good
He's
at explaining things.
Now.
I'm good at writing emails. I mean, people have, in the past complimented me on my ability to statesman-like emails.
Okay.
And they would ask me, Mel, why don't you send an email, to explain this thing, to the group, So when I go home and I'm telling my wife about something, and then she'll say this. Invariably, she'll say this. Well, what you mean to say is, I said, no, that's not what I meant to say. What I meant to say is what I said.
Oh, you translated for you.
No, what you meant to no, wait a minute. And then I say, Carrie, when you say that, what you meant to say was, no, you that's irritating, and that's not what you should do.
It's counterproductive.
Yeah, you should not say, and I think this in general with conversations anywhere, you shouldn't say to somebody, what you meant to say was. I mean, aren't you offended by that?
Yeah, that's not a polite thing to say.
It's not. And I tell my wife, that's not polite. That's not good communication skills. But she says, I want to be perfectly clear about everything. You can be perfectly clear, but that's not helping it be perfectly clear.
You still be perfectly wrong, too.
Yeah.
So you should try that with her when she tells you something. Then you you twist it around.
Well, you must be better than I am than explaining things, because I honestly don't think I'm very good. I think I see things a little bit different when I'm trying to explain things, and I'm thinking that somebody else can understand what I'm saying, but it's almost like when you're trying to give somebody directions how to get from point A to point B, the first thing you've got to do is establish where point A is and where point B is in the route you're taking. And, sometimes, left or right means something different. If I'm going south on a highway, taking a left sends me back to the east. If I go right, it takes me back to the west, if I'm traveling north and south. So you got to have that established. And I think sometimes when I'm explaining things to people, I assume that they're seeing things exactly the way I'm seeing it, and I'm wondering, why can't you understand what I'm saying when they're looking at it from a totally different perspective? So maybe that's what your problem is that she's just seeing it from a different view.
No doubt.
Well,
but there is a
thing.
Yeah, there is a better way of telling somebody, wait a minute, I don't quite understand what you're saying, than saying what you meant.
Yeah. Or another way of things, she says, well, in other words, I said, no, not in other words. The words I chose were to give this to you is the words that I meant. Wow. In other words, and I tell her, I said, in public, out in the public, or when you're in the workforce, in the work field, people will do that to you, and you always let it go. I said, but when you're in a situation where you don't have to let it go because it's going to be coming
let it go. Oh goodness, we're going to let this conversation.
I hope my wife doesn't listen to this one.
You're dead meat now, boy.
Man.
Well, you've got me so corn-fused. Maybe she'll be as corn-fused as I am.
I think we had some unintended consequences here.
All right, we're out of here. We'll be back in a short with the F-Bomb.